Across industries, across functions, where do you see AI in this hype cycle?
So I feel 24 was a super good year for AI because at the end of last year, we just had a few proof of concept, some gadgets. People were looking at the technology thinking, my God, we were talking a lot about hallucination, for instance. The ecosystem was pretty much US-centric. 1 year into this, we see that companies have started to scale some things. And in our latest survey, we surveyed 1,800 leaders from across the world, across sectors. 25% say we are making a real return on our investment into AI. And that's good, 25%, because the technology is super new, as you were saying. So it's a very good start that we are seeing there. The ecosystem now is not so much US-centric. We see LLMs and solutions from all over the world which are being deployed. So I feel good about where we are in terms of AI, and I agree with you that agentic AI will be the thing that will make a difference. It has started to make a difference in here, and we see real at-scale application of agentic AI across sectors. And that will continue to fuel innovation. And so my bet is that for next year, moving from maybe 25% of companies who say we are making real money with AI to maybe 50% would be an awesome achievement already.
So Sylvain, when people reach out to BCG X, what are the questions they're asking?
I think the main question is, how can I make money with AI? Many companies have started to invest a lot of money, have started to migrate data into the cloud, have started to build teams, purchase solutions and all of that. But the main challenge is money, and that's where we get most questions on how to scale these things. And I completely agree with what you are saying. I think a lot starts with the CEO, and of course the CEO needs to be super cognizant of what it will take. Many companies see this as yet another rollout of a new software, which it is not. It's not about user training. It's about reimagining how people will use the technology in the company. So there's a massive training, re-engineering part of those projects, which sometimes is overlooked, and people just deploy technology for the sake of deploying technology. You need focus. I completely agree. And very often you hear companies talking about use cases. I think use case is a bit small by definition. We're much more into taking maybe one function or sub-function and really completely reshape this function or sub-function around AI. Or take one product. In medtech, you've seen that a lot. You take a product and you inject AI into that, into what customers are selling. And you move from hardware into hardware powered by AI. So in medtech, you can do things where you have AI helping on the procedures. You have AI also helping on all the documentation and everything which is being done. So that's making a huge difference. Big focus, end-to-end work, and it's also a matter of investing. And you're saying we have very different situations. In our survey, we see that if you take companies which are 5 billion plus, 50%, they will put less than 25 million in AI next year. 1 out of 6, they will put over 100 million. So you can see that there are very different assessments of what needs to be done. At some point, companies need to put money after these things. And sometimes we've had a bit of an illusion that you just plug an API and all of a sudden, your processes are better, your people are more productive and everything. That's not the case. There's a very, very, very big part which is related to people.
Still, when companies approach BCG and talk about having an AI strategy, what are the mistakes that they do?
I think the main mistake is spreading too thin the investment on many topics. Not investing enough forcefully to really change companies. I don't believe any large company in one go can become a sort of data AI native first company everywhere, for sure. It's too much. I think in some very specific sub-functions or function, you can make that happen. And I'm really in the camp of, rather than spreading thin AI on everything, you take 1 or 2 areas where you make a massive difference through rebuilding the full thing around AI. I also think that companies are sometimes too cautious, especially in Europe, because to your point, everyone is anxious about what's going to happen with my job. And you said it, like middle managers are pushing back a lot on what things will happen. In the end, most companies are betting on the sort of human amplification. And in our latest survey, I was surprised with the number. It's only 7% of company leaders who say, I expect some job reduction in my company due to AI. And you even have some who said it's going to increase, and the two, they net out. And for most companies, to your point, is much more, let's do more with the teams I have, with the assets I have, than really massively cut. And we've heard a lot in the press, and there were economic surveys and studies saying that there will be a tsunami of layoffs and job restructuring. This is not what I'm seeing from my vantage point. And I think this thing of everyone's going to lose their job has been very detrimental to the deployment of AI. And you know, I've done lots of consulting before I was leading BCG X, so I've seen many consulting projects where you reduce costs, you boost productivity. These were not the most joy-enhancing projects of my life. What I see we do now with Gen AI, I see a super big joy factor, because in the end, people feel, okay, some of the most painful part of my job are automated. I stop wasting time. I'm focusing on better things. I also learn skills. And I feel I'm developing my professional skills because I'm using now Gen AI at work.